Hello there, I'm Vigalias. Bad news. Come on, man. A little bit of accusatory for the start of a video. It's not your fault. At least I don't think it is. Unless, of course, you work for Sony. Do you? Probably not. Although potentially, it's bad news for Bungie. Apparently, they are. This is all information according to Remy, Mint Blitz. Apparently, Bungie are having a lot of their independence taken away from them, and the Bungie as we know it is effectively going to be done, at least for a while now, probably permanently, and that is due to the unfortunate sort of figures that we're looking at currently for Bungie. Destiny 2 is not doing well. And alongside that, Marathon has just been an utter train wreck. I haven't even talked about Marathon on this channel, but yeah, from the viewpoint of everyone, essentially, Marathon is not something people are excited for. A bizarre move to begin with, to be honest with you. I just don't get it. I cannot fathom why Bungie took the route they did here. And it is, I just dropped my pen. It's disappointing. It's disappointing to see, all of this go down. But I think that there's a little bit less empathy here, in terms of this, Bungie situation, rather than something like, I don't know, Arcane or something like that. And I think that's because they have just made so many bizarre decisions. And I've never seen a company go from having such incredible goodwill, and being so beloved by people. Bungie were the studio back in the day. I grew up on their games, I wouldn't be into video games, frankly, if it wasn't for Bungie. Halo 3 was the reason I fell in love with online gaming. I mean, I played the occasional game here and there, like Killzone online, and I think I played that MAG, I think it was, with 200 and something players. That was back when I was a PS3 gamer. But then I got into Halo, and yeah, I mean, it's the whole reason I'm into video games now. I have Halo t-shirts, and I have my copy of Halo 3 hanging up on my shelf. I love the series. I still play Halo like crazy. It's crazy to think that 343 outlived Bungie. Although, did they? Because now they're Halo Studio, and is it me, or is the whole industry just a complete fucking mess right now? An absolute shambles. But yeah, it's really kind of disappointing, to see. But at the same time, when I read the news, I didn't think oh my god, what is that? What's happened? What's going on? Why has this happened? I just sort of thought well, yeah, kind of, yeah. It's halfway between, finding out about Ozzy Osbourne dying, or maybe not Ozzy Osbourne, because we kind of all knew that would happen, but David Bowie dying. It's halfway between that and Rooster Teeth dying, where it's well, with David Bowie, it came out of nowhere, and we kind of didn't know that this was going to happen. But then with Rooster Teeth, it was a bit of a foregone conclusion. This is halfway in between that, because I do think Destiny was a very innovative title, whether you like it or not. Maybe not innovative, but influential title throughout the 2010s. There were so many games that tried to be Destiny in the 2010s, and so to see the studio that pioneered that very genre go sort of not do well, not succeed, I don't want to say go under, is a bit of a shocker. It is, but at the same time, it's just look at the response to Marathon, and I think that did play a big part in what happened here. It's the response to Marathon. I have no interest in it. I'm not into extraction shooters. They don't do it for me really at all. I love sci-fi games. I love Bungie, frankly, and I think the art style is awesome looking. It looks fantastic, and I wish I could like it, but I know that I'll be in awe, of the way that the game looks for 5 minutes, and then I'm like, oh, well, there's a game here, and it just won't do anything for me, which is why you probably won't see any, if they even release it, Marathon content on here. And it's just bizarre to me, because here you have a studio who are known for rich worlds and deep storytelling and narrative stuff, and they've made an extraction shooter, which is it's flabbergasting. It's really, really bizarre. But when I think back to the old titles, I mean, even I know it's not the same studio, but you still have certain pillars and signposts for certain studios. You know, like DICE will make the large-scale open combat games. You know, they always will. Turn 10 will make fantastic racing games. That's what they do. You know, is it Turn 10? You know, the guys who make Forza. You know, certain, you know, like Guerrilla Games, they'll make adventure games. Naughty Dog, they make, you know, adventure games and, you know, third-person games. That's what they do. That's what these developers do. And you can pivot. You can. But I think when a developer is so known for a certain type of game, and when the community is propping that developer up in such a helpful and intense way, as they are with Bungie. Like, there's so many lore videos around Destiny and so much, you know, fanaticism around the universe of Destiny, and that comes off of the back of so much fanaticism for the universe of Halo. You have those two things, you know, piggybacking off of one another. That third entry is going to have to encompass the same, you know, at least in some way, some form of link between what it had been doing previously, because the community is such a strong piece of the puzzle when it comes to Bungie. You know, in the same way that, like, Jack Frags will talk about DICE games and he'll talk about these open, you know, combat games, because, you know, that's what he does. And if DICE then went on and made, although it's not DICE and it's Battlefield, but whatever, if they then went on and made like kids game, a linear kids game, I don't think Jack Frags is going to jump on that, and you lose that momentum. And I think a lot of, you know, what would happen with Marathon if they release the game, I think they'll definitely see an impact with that. And also an extraction shooter, dude. Why are we jumping on trend games? Bungie were always known for making, you know, games that no one else was not no one else was making, but like innovating on the formulas that were already there. Halo was not unique entirely. It was, you know, something that had been made before. Essentially, we'd had sci-fi FPSs, but it was wider open with different controls, different combat flow and stuff like that, and they innovated on it in such a huge way, and a huge expansive universe, which wasn't really part of the cause back then. And they did all of that and brought people into the fray. And then, you know, they did the same with Destiny. Again, love it or hate it, what they did was, you know, it did sort of innovate on the genre of, you know, like storytelling FPSs. They did something slightly different, a hybrid of the MMO and the linear campaign. You know, they did that and had a lot of copycats following, just like Halo did. But now it's just an extraction shooter. You can't do much with an extraction shooter. Unless they really did innovate in a big way, and who knows, you know, it could happen. It could be the next big thing, but I just can't see it, particularly with like all the asset thievery that went on and stuff like that. It's sad to see Bungie go down with a whimper like this. Not cool, to be honest with you. And it is sad, you know. I was a very much ride or die for Bungie for a few years. You know, they were it, and even when, you know, they finished with Halo, and then Halo 4 came out, and that was a bit disappointing for 343. You know, I saw that Destiny was coming out, and I thought, oh, you know, maybe it would be Bungie that I follow, not Halo. And I was a little bit disappointed with Destiny, so I went back to Halo. But, you know, now it's not even there. It's not even there for me to pick up. Really, really disappointing to see, to be honest with you. And now that Rooster Teeth and Bungie have gone, you know, it's like these pieces, you know, of gaming and the discourse and the, you know, universe of gaming and what have you, and entertainment is just like, it's crumbling away. And I get it, it was always going to happen. You know, we don't still consume the same things we consumed in the 80s, but you know, so why would we, you know, 15 years on still be consuming the same things 20 years on, etc. But it is, you know, it's sad. It's sad to see Bungie go out with such a whimper, and to see people so unsurprised. As, to be completely honest with you, I'm not surprised either. So rest in peace, Bungie. Unlucky, mate.
The PlayStation is only $149, and you can also get leading titles.